So this phrase, the meek shall inherit the earth, actually shows up twice in the Bible. So there's three main words in this phrase: meek, inherit, earth. And so I'm going to go through those. The earth, Swedenborg says, means the church. And so, because in the Bible, it often talks about the earth in balance with heaven. So heaven and earth, this and that. And so the earth is the counterpart to the kingdom of heaven. So you have angels in heaven, and then you have the people who are connected to heaven on this planet, in the world, in the created universe. And that is what the earth means. But to take it a step further, it really means the church is a state of mind. It's a part of you. You can connect to what it means to be the church. Swedenborg says in Apocalypse Revealed 285 that when the earth or land is mentioned, angels, being spiritual, do not think of the earth or land, but of the human race dwelling upon it and its spiritual state. And its spiritual state is the state of the church. And so then also this idea of the church being not a group of people or where you can sign up for membership, but really access in your own self to the Lord's love and wisdom. In Arcana Celestia 6113, also called Secrets of Heaven, Swedenborg writes, "A person is a church when goodness and truth are present in him or her. And groups of such people make up the church in general." So that's the earth. So then inherit. What does it mean to inherit the earth? And you can kind of get that already. If the earth is a state of mind of being receptive to the love and wisdom that's flowing in from the Lord, inheriting the earth means coming into that, opening yourself up to that possibility in yourself. So then we bring ourselves to meek, and that the meek shall inherit the earth. What does it take to inherit the earth, to be able to open yourself up to heaven? And it is meekness. And another word for meekness is humility. And that Swedenborg says that we need that in order to allow for the Lord's love and wisdom to flow into us. Because for as long as we're thinking that we don't need any help, that we're self-sufficient in ourselves, we're not going to be receiving that into us. We need that humility in order to open up to this goodness from the Lord that the Lord is offering us all the time. And Swedenborg says as much in Arcana Celestia 2327. He says, "So far as the heart is humbled, so far the love of self and all the evil therefrom ceases. And so far as this ceases, so far good and truth, that is charity and faith, flow in from the Lord." And another quote, which just says it really well, from Secrets of Heaven 4956. "When we are feeling humble, we are in a state receptive to goodness and truth from the Lord." And that is what it means that the meek shall inherit the earth. And so just to bring it to the Bible, because this is where this phrase exists, in Psalm 37, I just found it really interesting that the whole Psalm, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of long, really is teaching all of these spiritual elements to the meaning of that the meek shall inherit the earth. You could almost use it as a mantra, because I think this psalm is speaking to a state where when we particularly notice ourselves being overcome by evil and falsity, and we feel weak to it, meek, recognizing that that's actually a state in which the Lord can give the earth to us, give the church this love and wisdom to us, that can really help us when we're feeling overwhelmed. So I recommend read Psalm 37 if you're feeling overwhelmed. The psalm starts with talking about, it says, "Trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and feed on his faithfulness." So that's an acknowledgement that that is something that comes from the Lord, not yourself. "Commit your way to the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him." All of this language that is this acknowledgement that goodness and truth comes from the Lord and not from ourselves. He says, "But those who wait on the Lord, they shall inherit the earth." So when you're in that negative state, wait on the Lord, and you know that you're going to receive that love and wisdom from him. "For yet a little while, and the wicked shall be no more." So that state will pass. "But the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace." When we're like brought to our knees and having a hard time, perhaps think of that phrase, "the meek shall inherit the earth," because the Lord knows that you're going to fall, that you're having a hard time, but that state of humility is actually this key to being able to acknowledge that, all this goodness and truth comes from the Lord, and we can open ourselves up to that, to the Lord's mercy and compassion in those moments.